What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Anime Bulletin. We got some great news for y'all today throughout the anime, manga, light novel sphere. So, first, we'll start off with that time I got reincarnated as a slime is releasing its final volume 23. This is monumental. This is a monumental moment, man. It's the number one selling light novel with 45 million, I believe, somewhere between 45 million and 50 million copies sold. This is
Mm.
this is pretty big, man. How you feeling about it when you saw this headline?
Well, it's obviously very interesting because I think it's been running for about 11 years, if I'm correct.
Yeah, something like that, I believe so.
Yeah. So, which is quite rare for anything to be running that long. I was quite surprised about that. But obviously, as you said, it's a very monumental thing, really, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that last volume actually comes out. Because when you hear a last volume, you're always expecting big things from that. So I'm really excited to see what we get from that volume.
Yeah, so am I. I need to catch up on it, but I am very interested in how it's going to wrap up and bring the whole story together and how we're going to see the end of Rimaru's story, you know?
No,
So,
absolutely agree with that. And then just kind of just jumping into the next bit, it's like one of the most popular animes around now, Sakamoto Days, will be getting a live action film in 2026. It's been announced that there will be a film that will be coming out during the Golden Week in Japan, which traditionally occurs between the 29th of April to and between the 6th of May. And yeah, and I did not expect this. And funny enough, to make things even more interesting, they released a poster, a live action poster for this. Just bringing this up now, just it looked really cool. Even especially the glasses itself. Talk to me. What do you think about this?
well, Netflix themselves, I know live actions get a bad rap, and Netflix is a part of that with the Death Note and Full Metal Alchemist and things like that. They are not good with their live adaptations, but as of recently, I feel like they have gotten better with it. I think they learned with the One Piece live action. They learned with the mistakes with their Cowboy Bebop live action. And then I believe since it's kind of a gag, funny type of thing, that they're going to also take notes for what they did with Way of the House Hud. So I think this is something that's actually I'm kind of looking forward to. I'm not the biggest Sakamoto fan, but it's something that I could turn on and watch and see it actually come to life because it is a story that's more rooted in reality, even though it still has its fantasy bits to it.
I'm more in the camp that I just don't think anime, not just anime. I think certain anime shouldn't be made live action only for the sake of the fact of what we've gotten. Yes, you said it's gotten better, but my trust is still not there yet. I've seen Dragon Ball Evolution, I've seen The Last Airbender, I've seen a few stinkers in there, but I mean, I have hope that it'll probably come out all right. But like, I can't say I'm 100% sure about that one. So yeah, so no.
Yeah,
Hmm?
like just to go on about the live action thing, there are a lot of stinkers, but there's also like Border and Alice Land. That's actually an anime adaptation, or at least a manhwa adaptation. Uh, what Alita's another good one, but I really was doing that to roll into something else that I saw that I meant to bring up on our very first episode. Actually, was they're also doing a Windbreaker and a My Hero Academia live action as well. I know those two things weren't on the docket, but as somebody, I know you've seen Windbreaker. I haven't really been watching Windbreaker, but I know we both watch MHA. Do you think that they can pull off an MHA style thing without it crossing that line of like Shark Boy Lava Girl corniness look, right? Type of ordeal.
Well, that's going to be really tight. I think it's how you kind of get the budgets and the special effects and everything. I think My Hero is going to be very, very difficult. Especially you've got All for One, One for All. You've got Todoroki, all these other different types of quirks that you kind of have to do a lot of visual effects for, which will probably make it really, really difficult. I think the best one and easiest one is probably a Windbreaker, because there's all it is just throwing hands, but it's you're not really doing, they're not really doing anything too fantasy with the hands, because as long as you
Yeah.
ground the hands like that, you can do a lot of good storytelling with that. But MHA is going to be absolutely difficult for that. So, oof, I
I
don't
think
envy
I
them.
think it's gonna be the Animorphs, the
Mm,
the ones that are like the lizard guy and everything. I think those are gonna be more of the harder ones, and probably making like what's the guy's name? Kirishima, isn't he the Red Riot, the guy
yep.
that turns into a rock? I think those type of quirks are going to be the more harder things to do than like an ice fire quirk or like an explosion quirk or something like that. I mean, I'm always interested. I know you're kind of pessimistic. I'm a little bit more optimistic, just because there are a lot of live actions that I think people don't realize are live actions. That actually do really good on Netflix. Like, I know a lot of people that watch live actions that don't watch anime, and they don't even know that they're in anime. So I'm
Mm,
kind of looking forward to the future of just live action anime and anime in general, but especially live action, as the money gets put into it a little bit more. And I think but we the series that are coming out, I think is going to push it even further.
yep. That's a very fair take. But yeah, like I said, you're the more optimistic out of us both. So I will try and generate that optimism. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And then this is more of a very interesting one, because it kind of piqued my interest itself. So there's some news for our gamers. So it seems as though, dum bringing it up here is um Digimon Storytime Stranger's Game has released a trailer for the game, which reveals the English version of their theme song itself. The game itself will be releasing on the 3rd of October on PlayStation 5, Xbox, and PC itself. How just checking out the trailer, I think initially, when I saw the trailer, the graphics, I was like, oh god, I'm not gonna buy this game at all. But and then the song itself hit, and I was like, hold on. And then I found myself bopping my head a little bit. It was actually quite nice. So, I mean, you saw the trailer itself. What were your thoughts on the song that was released, as well, even just the concept of the game itself?
uh the song is kind of a bop. I'll tell you that much. It is kind of a bop. If there's one thing anime games in particular are going to do, they're going to give you some type of bop, some type of banger to go along with it. I'm not really a big fan of the Digimon games or like anything within that realm of style of storytelling, right? Digimon, Pokemon, whatever, Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever. I'm not really a big fan of those type of games, so I probably won't check it out unless I would like see some more gameplay of it when it's released. Um, but if you're a fan of Digimon, I could see it. I could see it being something that you would want to check out. If I'm gonna be honest with you, I think it's funny because we were just talking about Digimon yesterday, and then I saw this news come up, and I was like, "Wow, speak it into existence, speak it into existence." But if you're into Digimon, I think it's worth a check out. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, for sure. And let's have a look. It's not a lot of Digimon games I've come across, so we'll see what happens there. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what they actually come out with in terms of the gameplay, as you've mentioned. And then kind of rounding it off with the final piece of news. It seems as though there's another one. This was actually quite an interesting title that I actually started laughing a lot. I'll bring it up for you here, is the backstabbed in a backwater dungeon I'm Out for Revenge has released a trailer focusing on one of its characters known as Light, who is the protagonist of the series itself. I mean, I've seen the trailer and you know, I can't say it was not terrible. Don't get me wrong, it was not terrible, but it ultimately highlighted that it's not for me. I'm not the audience that it's aimed for itself. It still looked interesting, but it just was I'm just not the audience for it itself. You saw the trailer itself. What do you think about it, or what do you know about it, if anything? Give me your thoughts.
The only thing I know about it, I'm pretty sure this is the title, the anime right here, but this is supposedly the longest title in anime, like, because you missed out the first half of it, which is like my level 9,999 something something something. I can't remember the whole thing.
Yeah,
uh
yeah.
but that's apparently the longest title. But I'm an isekai fan. I'm a fantasy fan. I'll probably check it out. It looks like it's going to fall within that mid tier range, and it might actually surprise. Honestly, I've learned to stop sleeping on animes that have long names, right?
Hmm.
Uh, eh, because it I don't know. They just always, maybe it's because my bar is down, that it always surpasses expectations. So it's like it could be slop, but my bar is down. So who knows? I'm excited for it. I think this is something that people have actually been talking about for the past 6, 7 months now. Is actually this series, kind of based around the name of it, but also the name of it is what brought people into reading it and then eventually talking about it. So I'm excited for it, just to see what it's going to be. What is it going to accumulate to? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be slop? Is it going to be average or whatever? I kind of like the design that we got for the MC. He kind of gives me a Sid from Eminence and Shadow type of vibe going on with, we saw a card in his hand. So, Sid mixed with a little bit of Yugi or something. Maybe Seto Kaiba instead of Yugi. So
Yeah, yeah, and I think it is important to note that the anime itself will be broadcasted in Japan as of the 3rd of October. But yeah, you guys let us know. What are your thoughts on the reincarnated as a slime news, with the fact that it's coming out with its final volume. You've got Sakamoto Days getting a live action film. You've seen the poster. What did you think about the poster? Digimon itself, the game that's coming out. What did you think about the theme song itself, the English version of it, and then you know, as well as the longest title in anime, which I'm not gonna say. So yeah, let us know what you guys think in the comments. We'll look forward to hearing what you guys think, and we'll see you guys in the next anime bulletin.